All right, so one question that I always get asked like crazy, and honestly, for some reason this week that I've been getting a lot is, yo, what camera should I buy? What camera should I buy? I'm trying to create some content. I want to be a content creator. I want to be a streamer. I want to be this. I want to be that, YouTuber, whatever it may be. What camera should I buy? And like, there's never just a one size fits all for that type of question. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different variations when it comes to cameras, and most of us aren't just trying to blow a couple of $1,000s wherever, and especially if that's not going to have some sort of return on investment. Now, if you just have the money and you have the time to learn cameras, then by all means go and buy that crazy couple $1,000 camera that you want. But for most of us, we're not just trying to blow this money and waste our time. You know what I mean? So when people ask me this question most of the time, especially if they're newer to cameras, are looking to get into videography, I always tell them this. Now, look, I started videography way back when I was like 10 years old, and I didn't even have a camera. And what I would use was my friends' phones or their iPods or webcams or anything that I had access to. Now, everybody currently in their pocket has a camera that's way better than what I started with. Everyone's iPhone, especially if you have the newer iPhones, the 17 Pro Maxes, these things shoot amazing quality. You can shoot 4K on pretty much all the iPhones, all the newer iPhones. I think like 15 and up, 14 and up, you can shoot 4K on. And it's pretty crazy that the amount of quality that you can pull from them. So what I want to do today is show you guys how you can maximize on the quality of your iPhones and really get a good high cinematic look from them. My name is Marcus. I'm a videographer. I've been a videographer for years and years and years. I've been shooting, like I said, since I was like 10 years old, starting off on iPods, whatever cameras that I can grab. And I've learned just so much by just being hands-on, and even by being restricted to only using things like this in the beginning really helped me learn a ton, just because you don't have the same abilities as you do with a full cinema camera and a full rig, obviously. And it helps you learn a lot of the fundamentals, which are essential when you actually do get that camera that you've had your eyes on. And so it's going to help a lot, because a lot of people, what they do is they blow those couple $1,000s, they buy that camera that they were looking at, and they have no idea how to use it. And it's super unmotivating, and they sometimes don't even want to put the time in to actually learn how to do it. So like I said, a lot of people have been asking me this week, what camera should I get? What camera should I get? And I tell them, well, first things first, if you're new to videography, is the first thing I want you to do is go to the App Store and download this app. This is the Blackmagic Pro app. So what this app allows you to do is it allows you to actually override all the settings in your iPhone and control them manually. So if you aren't familiar with your shutter speed, your aperture, your white balance, ISO, you may not even know what any of those things are. And good, if you don't, great. You'll be able to learn them all within this app. So I'm going to switch to my phone, or I'll probably just throw my phone on screen and give you an idea what this looks like, some settings that you can shoot for, and a couple of add-ons that you can do to really pull out the highest quality from your iPhone. So the first things first that I like to do is you want to know what type of shot you want, right? If you want a wider shot, you're going to use a wider angle. If you need a more zoomed in shot, you're going to use the zoomed in shot. And the way you're going to be able to manipulate this is right here by this tab on the right hand side. You see all these different lenses here, and these are associated with the lenses that you have in your phone. As you know, the iPhone has the 3 different lenses. It has a really telephoto one, a really wide one, and then a medium one. So as you can see, when you tap on 13, you get a really wide shot. As you go forward, 24, 48, 100, it just zooms in more and more and more. All right, so another thing that you'll look out for next, if you look on the top left-hand corner is where I'm tapping on these tabs, you'll see the frame rate. Next is we have the shutter speed. Now, this is cool because you can't typically just manipulate this in your regular camera on your iPhone. And now if you're able to manipulate this, you can get some pretty cool like slow shutter shots, all different types of things. So this is a really good one to mess with. A good rule of thumb to follow is that your shutter speed should always be double your frame rate. So our frame rate is 30, so our shutter speed is at least 60. And then our ISO is the amount of digital light we are letting in. So the amount of digital enhancement of the light that we are allowing on the sensor. So the higher this number goes, you'll see the brighter it gets. But the downside to it is the more noisier and grainier your image will be if you keep it high enough. So you usually want to keep that around. On the iPhone, I usually keep that at around 400 max. Sometimes I'll go to 800 if it's really dark, but I try to keep that as low as possible. Our white balance is going to be the color temperature of our video. For me, it looks pretty good right now, but you can mess around with this. Sometimes it's a little bit off. Now, if you go in the settings here, there's a ton of different settings. If you would like, you can just copy mine right here in the recording tab. And you can also mess with log in this app, which I really like. If you have the newer iPhones, you can mess with the Apple log too, which is great. And you can practice all different types of color correcting when you go back into Premiere Pro. There's just so many different settings in here. I'm not going to be able to touch on every single one of them. The basics would to just come here in the record settings. The codec I usually use is H.264. But if you want something very, very high quality, you could use Apple ProRes RAW, but this does require you to have like an external hard drive plugged into your iPhone. So I typically just go with H.264 because usually I'm not shooting very, very serious work on this. Not to say that you can't, but for me, usually I'm just shooting an H.264 and I'm just messing around with this camera, or it'll be a BTS camera. And I typically like to shoot in open gate because it allows you to have a higher frame rate if you'd like. So you could shoot in 60 frames with open gate. When you're in just regular 4K, it doesn't allow that. It only allows up to 30. So I usually stay in open gate. And like I said, there's a ton of settings. You can even live stream off of here. You could do so many different things. If you edit in DaVinci and have a Blackmagic account, you can link them and link the storage and have it automatically upload into the editor, I believe. So there's just a ton of different things that you can do with this app. I really love it. I use it all the time for, like I said, if I'm getting BTS clips or just messing around content for myself in general. So yeah, before you get that first camera, before you spend thousands of dollars on that camera, I would highly recommend download that app, mess around with it, go start shooting now so you can learn all the settings. By the time you get that camera, it comes around, you're going to know exactly what to do because these are the same settings that you'll see on any typical camera that you're going to get. So I couldn't recommend it enough. If you do want to hear more tips like this, more tricks, learn how to use your camera, learn how to edit, all things like that, I would highly recommend joining the school community. It is linked in the bio. It's completely free. It is free. I mean, as long as you're signing up now when this video comes out, I'm not sure how it's going to be later down the line if we got a lot of more people in there. But right now it's completely free. So highly recommend joining up in there.